Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Sam, as of now, Enzo Maresca has joined Chelsea. Obviously, I'm not sure if it's what you wanted to hear, but for me, I'm a bit annoyed that he has gone. In my eyes, it feels like a bit like a betrayal because he came in and said it was a project and it was a plan to get us back to the Premier League and start there. But obviously now there's a chance to join Chelsea. He has gone. What's your kind of take on this?
I'm not too annoyed that he's gone. I think there's a lot of good options out there at the moment that we could replace him with quite easily. It'll be interesting to see what you guys have to say in the comments about this as well. But for me personally, I rumored money around 10 million pounds for him. Can't really complain at that. Chelsea, I think if I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be a little bit effed off, to be honest with you, that we've gone from Maresca from the managers they've had before. Uh, it doesn't surprise me because of all the things that happened last season. When, as an example, we played Southampton, beat them 5-0, counter-attacked. I believe that was the game after Jamie Vardy called in the players and said, listen, lads, we need to pull ourselves up and start getting performances in. Enzo said that was one of the worst seasons, one of the worst performances we played all season. And I genuinely think he was wrong. He is Team Enzo. He will do what he wants to do to make himself better, to do his career better, which is fair enough. But I think because he has pretty much gone really. Obviously, this is all but confirmed. We've obviously seen William, whatever his name is, Enzo's bum buddy, gone and confirmed that he's gone to Chelsea.
His mate wouldn't say that. Yeah, his mate wouldn't say that for no reason.
Yeah, but it's interesting to get your thoughts on it because you're quite a big fan. I think I'm smack in the middle where I genuinely don't care that he's left us. I think there's better managers for us in the Premier League that Moisey, Potter, we could go after.
Yeah, I think throughout the year, obviously, you knew I wasn't the biggest fan of the football to begin with, but going through the year, I started to get invested in. I could see what the plan was and the style was, and it was working for me in ways that was actually more enjoyable to watch than the Rodgers days. Obviously, yes, we got fifth, and was it eighth with Rodgers, but then obviously you saw the decline in it.
Different leagues.
I do get it, but I feel like the style and the tactics and whatnot was there compared to what Rodgers had in my eyes.
I disagree because we finished very high in the positions, and again, I'm going to compare us to Burnley with Vincent Kompany, their team. They got 101 points in their season championship. He looks like he's going to be the Bayern Munich manager, by the way. And then look at what they do in the Premier League under the same exact style of football. They crumble, they fold, they try it week in, week out. I think that's all Enzo would have done for us anyway. You know, like I said, he hated the performance against Southampton. We thrashed them 5-0, probably in most fans' eyes, the best game of the season that we've seen. It's been rumoured as well, the players said that they've been unhappy with Enzo and that they were getting backlash for some of the performances towards the end of the season because they were playing the way that they wanted to play, not the way that Enzo wanted to play. If you ask me, really, he's way too stubborn. He's got way too big of boots on, I guess. You know, he thinks he's the dog's bollocks pretty much when he really isn't. He's managed one season in the Championship and he's done all right with the best team in that league ever. You know, we got some 97 points at the end, but you know, you're probably one of the first to say, no, Burnley's team is not as good as our team, and yet we got less points than them. I know you've got Southampton and Leeds in the league, but you know, Burnley didn't lose to Plymouth, they didn't lose to Millwall with it. You know, apples and oranges with it, but I actually think we probably could have done better if Maresca wasn't manager. To be honest with you,
maybe I think there's advantages and disadvantages in going. Obviously, he's gone. I think the main reason why he's gone is because of that point deduction that's going to be coming in. Again, he's always on a back foot if we do get like a 10 point.
Chelsea are probably getting a point deduction as well.
Maybe so.
Club and a 10 points deduction to Chelsea is not as significant as to a newly promoted Leicester team. I know there is a big difference, and really, I think the underlying message is he's gone to a bigger club. That
is the main reason. And again,
gone to a bigger club.
I've heard that it's a 3 or 4, maybe even a 5-year contract. He's not going to be there for that long. We all know that. no Chelsea managers lasted nearly a year. So
Just pull up Scott's comment there. What are the odds? The last one. What are the odds of Chelsea sacking him before Christmas? I mean, you know what they're like, Chelsea. They made Pochettino quit at the end of the season, and I'm pretty sure that was not a sacking. That was him deciding to leave himself. He's got a big task ahead of him, and
I hope he fails in my. I don't know why. Maybe because it's me, but being biased and me not liking him anymore. Because again, I said to Locke just said this could all fall through. Like there's things in the contract that could not be right, and it all fall through. But then we'd be stuck with him, and no Leicester would want him now because he's basically not betrayed us in a way, but he's a traitor again. No.
Yeah,
Leicester fan would want him now because he's had his head turned. He said he's completely into this Chelsea sort of.
I think we said we've seen a lot. Say William, I can't say his last name.
Yeah, Willem. Yeah.
He said and deleted on Twitter that he has joined Chelsea officially, and he quickly deleted that.
Probably because it was announced too early. Yeah.
Someone told him to delete it. Fabrizio, obviously very reliable source, if not the reliable source of football, has said that he is gone and to be expected really in the next 24 to 48 hours, which was on Sunday, and it is now Tuesday. So I can imagine at some point in the next 2 hours, he will be officially confirmed. Yeah. And really, I guess the next point is we've got to move on from.
Like Andy says.
Fair enough, but
look, good luck to Enzo. Which no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to give him good luck. And now we need an experienced manager, which now we obviously go into who do we get. For me, there's only a few names that you could probably go for, and that means Premier League standard. So there's obviously Moyes, you've got De Zerbi, which again I can't see happening because he left Brighton for the same reason of he's just not got the money or not been given the money to improve his squad, and obviously Potter as well, like Scott says there. There's one name that has been put out there that's favourite at the moment, which is the West Brom manager. I think you're going backwards at that point.
The bookies are saying he's the favourite to be the next manager. Obviously, Enzo hasn't officially left yet, but it is all but confirmed. I agree with you. I think that's a massive step backwards from Enzo. I don't think we should be going for the West Brom manager who's, I know it's been a tough season, but
Matt Reeves, no. I'm sorry. We don't want the Forest manager.
He would be better than the West Brom manager.
Well, all I know is I've got a few Forest mates, which probably I shouldn't be announcing that, but there's a few Forest mates that have said that they wanted him gone a while back because of how boring and how basic his football is.
Yeah, I don't think we can say anything about boring football because we've experienced the most boring football.
I don't agree, but that's just me.
You don't agree because we were winning a lot.
No, because I honestly saw the reason why.
Yeah, but next season we're losing week in, week out.
Paul here.
It would be even more boring.
Paul says, "Good job, Rooney and Sam for Plymouth last week." Yeah, I don't think that was going to even happen with Vardy still in the picture. Like says, we might have to search abroad.
I don't see the point. For me, there's one person I think fits the description perfectly, and that would be David Moyes. Just because he's been.
He's probably the number one you'd probably have to go for. Like say,
he's free. He's just left West Ham on a free. They've mutually agreed to part ways. I think his contract's run out, and really last season he won them Europa Conference League out. I mean, for me, there isn't really a better manager who's been there, done that. He's been at Everton, he's been at Manchester United, he's been at West Ham. But, for 20 plus years of experience as a manager, I actually don't think there is. Yeah, but so did Enzo, and no one else was complaining about the fact that Enzo was playing boring football. So
I don't know. I think my two top picks out of the lot would probably be De Zerbi or Potter, but that I don't think any of them two will happen because we need to stay in the league, and them two aren't the managers to keep someone in the league. They're
who's that?
Both Potter and De Zerbi are both more.
Potter kept Brighton up, but I'm pretty sure he kept them up when they came.
I don't know if from what I remember, majority of the time Potter was there. They were more looking at top 10 than bottom. London Forever is blue. Are you telling him Moyes is better than Enzo?
Yes, he is. By a country mile.
Yes, like by Experience, yes.
Look at what
I think quality of football, no. I think quality of football.
I'm not saying
in my
Enzo
eyes,
is
no.
a bad manager. He's had one season, lads, in the Championship. He's not the Messiah.
I would agree that he's got more experience in the Premier League, but I don't think the football is better.
You can say that what you want, but he's literally just won them a Conference League last season.
But they've got a lot better players in that team.
So we were in the Championship. Enzo was a Championship.
I think again, as much as I've just said, I hope he fails. I think Enzo, with better players, will get a high in the table.
You can say that about any manager, really. You could.
The football they play, I think they will.
If Enzo went to Man City and took over Pep, they probably still do somewhat similar, just because they have the great players to do it.
Curtis here says, "Look, Enzo was always going to accept a bigger team. I take Moyes or Potter personally." Again, these are the names that have been rumoured around. Again, there's not many other managers that are around at the moment, unless you do go abroad, which again is a massive risk.
I personally wouldn't go abroad.
But then we never really heard of Enzo when we came from.
Yeah, but he wasn't abroad, was he? He was a Man City coach.
No, I do know that.
He'd been there, done that with Man City. He just won them the treble before he joined us.
Rob Edwards, great, done great at Luton with little funds and unlucky to get relegated.
I think he's going to stay there just because Luton's goal was to never spend money. Again, with FFP restrictions, teams like Sheffield United, Burnley, and Luton, and a bit like us, when you spend big money, you go down to the Championship. The FPL and EFL, they come around, turn you and bend you over. That's how they do it. They know what they're doing in that system, and that's what happened to us, and that's why we're getting these point deductions, and would have been a transfer embargo if we stayed in the Championship. Really, that's why Luton's not spent big, because they probably knew if they were to that they would be screwed if they and when they probably did go back down to the Championship. So they've took 100-odd million, and they can rebuild a better Championship side and come back up next season.
Yeah, Nick Moore here says we need a manager who's is a prem. Again, that is the one advantage to getting rid of, well, not getting rid of Enzo because he left, but that's the one thing now. If now we've got no manager, we have to go for prem quality.
I think you have to be smart about it.
You can't go for a West Brom manager.
Someone like Potter suits the bill. He's been done well at Brighton. He had the Chelsea job previously, and obviously that's a double-edged sword going to Chelsea. You never know how that's going to go. I'd be happy with Potter. I just have the vision in my head that Moyes has been there and done that, and he's. I think
Moyes would be the number one candidate for it.
I don't see if he wants to do I don't know where his head's at. I don't know if he's thinking of retirement, because he's not the youngest. He is probably looking at retiring soon. Who knows? Obviously, you've seen some of these managers like Roy Hodgson.
Just one thing that I'm afraid with Moyes is I don't know what the football's going to be like with him, because it's going to be he doesn't play the same-ish style as Enzo, which obviously will mean we have to incorporate that a lot more.
If a football player can't play more than one style of football, they're not football players.
No, I get that, but it's going to take us time to.
No, not really. We've
it.
played counter-attacking football. It's not hard. You kick the ball up, you put it in the net. It really isn't that difficult, to be honest with you. Enzo's philosophy at the club was a lot harder, and people thought, it was such a tactical masterclass. It really wasn't. We had a really good team in the Championship, and they allowed us to pass it around. And whenever a team attacked us and counter-attacked our team, we ended up losing those games, to be honest with you.
The one thing we will know is next season is the fact is we'll probably have Chelsea first game of the season next year.
Yeah, I'd say I'll be surprised if we have a manager announced by the time the fixtures are out, really.
Yes, yeah, that's like 2 or 3 weeks away, isn't it? Scott here says, "Really, and Sam, what style are you hoping to play this next season? Keep us up." Again, for me, I honestly would have liked to keep Enzo with the style of football, because we already know what we're doing.
Your point of view, but you got to think of it the same as.
But we'll moving the ball up and defending keep us up. For me, there's got to be some sort of system to know.
I think that I have to argue the fact that I don't think there has to be a style of football to keep us up. You play to your strengths, and you play to the team's weaknesses. If a team sits back and passes it around the back, put them on the back foot, put pressure on them. It's not hard to counter a team. You don't need to play just one style of football. This new philosophy of we play this one way and that's it, I find extremely backwards and naive way to play football. I think if you play to people's strengths,
Stu said if people thought Enzo ball was boring, wait till you get Moyes in. That's a football equivalent to watching a car rust.
right?
I agree.
The car rust
In my
of the
eyes.
Europa Conference League trophy sat in the front seat.
Maybe so. I think Locks is a big fan of getting the West Brom manager in, which I seriously can't understand that because it is a backward step from Enzo. And again, as much as West Brom got playoffs, like it all depends. All depends on who we can get because I'm not too sure what style of football he wants to play.
For me, I don't see why we would get him. I don't know why. I don't know where the West Brom managers come from. Obviously, he is the bookie favourite. So
Yeah.
I don't really know what to say anymore. I don't know who he is or what he's done, but he's not really done anything.
No, Jason says Reedy and Sam being a sport for 30 years. Leicester have always been attacking side, always had Enzo style was dull. Be nice for someone to come in and be refreshing. West Brom manager, such a bad move. Again, for me, when
was a dull football.
But when he says something refreshing, for me, that was Enzo when he came in. I thought it was refreshing to see something different.
That's how Peel played. We've seen it for the past 8 years.
I don't think I can put Enzo and Rodgers in the same.
No, you shouldn't, because Enzo's here. Rodgers was here, mate. Because look at what he won as compared to Enzo.
Okay. Really and Sam, we have to be realistic. The club financial trouble. Moyes is proven prem. It's a no-brainer. Again, I do agree that as much as I don't want him, I'd much prefer the Zerbi, which I know won't happen, or Potter, which could happen. I do think
Potter and
Moyes is
on the
a
same
favourite.
level of they're both free.
Yeah.
It's all down to contract negotiations.
Locke says here, Carlos Corberán took Huddersfield to playoffs, re-signed and took them, and look at them now, taken West Brom to the playoffs with zero money spent, and now losing most of their good players. Also scored under Barcelona.
If he's a good manager, then fair enough. Again, it's one of those things. Has he ever managed in the Premier League?
All I'd say is if he took us back down and we did sign him, I'd be like that was the wrong move.
Yeah, for me, it's just
he has to keep us up if we go for him.
For me, the goal is to stay in the Premier League.
Would you say if whoever we get, if we didn't stay up, would it be the wrong move to have got that manager, whoever it was? If we got Potter and we went for relegated.
No, because you can't say that depending on how.
Or is it a certain managers like Corberán that you'd say it was the wrong move?
I think you can look at it logically. If we got this Corberán person from West Brom and we did get relegated, you'd say, well, that's what we deserve for picking a championship manager. Yeah. But if you got Moyes instead and we got relegated, at least you'd be like, well, we got an experienced manager. Yeah, we got the points deduction. Sam Allardyce, no, thank you.
Bring in the special one. I'd love to see him there. I'd love to see him at Leicester.
Who's that?
Jose Mourinho. Do you know what? I'd love it. He's going to
cost a lot.
Shithole football. That'd be brilliant. I'd love that, but it wouldn't happen.
He's never going to join us.
It would never happen. Not really fussed about him leaving.
That's a good question there from Christopher. Really, just pull it back up. What are your feelings about Enzo leaving? Obviously, we talked about who can replace. So just have a little comeback on Enzo.
What are your thoughts? There is 300 people in here, so everyone get your views.
Comment your views on what is your actual opinions on him leaving. Are you upset? I'm the same as Christopher. I don't really care that he's gone. I did
ask him on the stream yesterday when we play Chelsea next year. Obviously, if and when Enzo is there, I said, would you clap him or boo him for getting Neither. And majority of them said boo, which I'd do it, but that's just because.
Just neither. He's gone to Chelsea because they're a bigger club. Let's be honest. Like, if you thought he was going to stick around when Chelsea were coming,
no, of course not. That is the main.
He was obviously going to go.
That is the main.
And you can't blame him. The club are going to take 10 million. He's going to join a bigger club. Let's be honest. Chelsea are obviously. There's not even a let's be honest. They are a bigger club, and they always will be. They're probably going to be fighting for a top 8 position next season. Chelsea will be.
Yeah, I know that is the main factor. That is the main factor.
It's a no-brainer.
It's the main factor that he's left because it's a bigger club and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
you can't blame him for leaving for a bigger club.
But you'd say there's a lot of factors to why he wanted to leave in the first place. Because I remember at the end of the season, he said that he didn't get told about all this FFP nonsense, all the stuff in the winter about not being able to get players that he wanted and stuff like that because it all fell through. So there's a lot of reasons to why he wanted to probably leave, and now there's a chance to leave. He's took it. So
yeah, I know what you're saying. He did have the most expensive ever team in the Championship prior to signing anyone.
Mhm.
Before we signed Harry Winks or Connor Cody, we had the most expensive team going into the
Ooh.
season. So
Scott's got a good question here. Do you think Maresca leaving has an effect on Vardy and Vestergaard's decision on contracts?
you think they're going to go Chelsea?
No, I'm thinking that Vardy might not take a
The
contract.
person that called a meeting because he didn't like the way Enzo
No, but
played.
I'm saying no. I'm saying I just don't know if he would do it under a different manager because it might mean they get relegated again. There might be a chance that he doesn't stay in the Premier League, and then his final year in the Premier League could be a relegation.
It's the same with it. Doesn't matter about Enzo. For me personally, I wouldn't sign Vestergaard on a new contract anyway. I think he's too slow for a centre back. Vardy, I'd give him 1 year. Obviously, if the money's right. I can half imagine the money's probably not 100% right between them. But I don't know, to be honest with you. I'd love to see Vardy again from the season, but if the money's too much, especially in our financial situation,
well, we've got 10 million basically now for free. So.
It's not for free though.
Oh no,
because we're going to have to sign a new manager.
Well, yeah, but it's probably not going to be anywhere near as much, probably. Locks here says Enzo Maresca might be going to be a very good manager in the future. Right now he's inexperienced and has a lot to learn still. I do think he's sold my sort of American dream.
Well, like you said, Reedy, you read somewhere it's a 5-year contract. That's bonkers for a manager of his experience.
And going to Chelsea, which they should just give a year contract just in case.
I mean, you've seen it. They did the same with Potter. Pretty much, he did well at Brighton. Signed a 5-year contract. He was gone within half a year.
Yeah.
And now look at him. Potter sat in his multi-million mansion house, swimming in his bath full of money. And he doesn't need to do anything ever again with his life, and he's rich because Chelsea are.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? Swimming in a bath of money.
If only we could all go.
I don't know if it was you or Jake who wasn't a big fan of this guy, but in other news, Jose Perez has been called up to the Spain Euro squad. What a player! He was treated like shit at our fans.
I've always rated Perez. I thought he was a great player. I thought we played him wrong.
Yeah, he was always put on the wing. He was always put on the wing. If he was in that position now, if he was in that position where indeed he is, in the Enzo style, I think we would have been even better.
I thought he was a pretty good player, and obviously when he was at Newcastle, he did 20 goals and assists.
Yeah.
In that season.
Yeah,
that was as an attacking midfielder, not a winger.
Yeah, last few comments before we do finish. Mike Rook says we've had the best team in the squad apart from Leeds. Really, even you could have got them promoted. I don't think I could have.
I don't think it's hard. The team was a very good team.
I think Championship's a lot harder than people think, but yeah. Let's be honest, we're all frustrated, Sam, really. Phil director's just sitting on this at the moment. It's very annoying how slow we react.
Yeah.
Again, we should, right now, because of the moment Chelsea said, can we speak to Enzo? They should be looking for a new manager. We should be literally near enough confirming a new manager as we speak, ready for the departure of Enzo Maresca. So yeah. I don't think it is happening. I think they're just sitting there chilling on at the desk. But
I've read that they're waiting to see on the Maresca situation. They're not getting anyone lined up. Even though they know that he is going. Again, like I said, really, I think we're both in agreement. I think Locks has a different opinion, but
yeah, the directors are too busy at the horse racing right now.
I think me and you would agree if we got the West Brom manager, and a lot of fans, I'd be pretty miffed off if that's who we brought in.
Yeah, because it is a backward step. As much as Locks thinks he might be a good manager, which he still could be, but if he was a good enough manager, he would have.
Don't pull up that Alex Turner comment, mate. No way. Absolutely not. I would not have Steven Gerrard. No way.
No, thank you. Yeah, if it was a good enough manager, obviously he is in the Championship, so he's probably not going to be able to be seen as one of the better managers.
I'm not going to judge him if we were to get him before he comes in, but I just think, like you said, really, even you, I know you're probably not. Moyes is number one person to come in, but if you
but I'd rather him over Blue.
Exactly. I think that's kind of the consensus is there's a handful of Premier League experienced managers that we can get, and if we go to someone in the Championship, I just think it's a bit of a Debbie Downer to start the season off as someone who's, like I said, even for me, David Moyes, he's been there, done that. He could pull in some players, someone from Man U, someone from West Ham, even on loan. Just say, come to Leicester for a season on loan, lads.
Yeah, the players that I'll probably see it at West Brom, but West Ham, but not getting into the first team. Go, yeah,
same with
bring him
Graham
over.
Potter. He could do the same with his Chelsea links or his Brighton links. Like some of the lads that weren't getting first team football, they're on the fringes. Pick them up, and it's all here but there, really. Obviously.
Oh man, hopefully 20th, but that's just me.
I think they'll finish about 8th or 9th next season.
But is that an upgrade?
No,
it's backward. It's backwards.
They
it was
7th.
They finished 8th, I think, whatever it was. But either
I think
way,
they'll do about the same as they did last
if
season.
they think they're going to get top 4 with Enzo, I might be wrong, but it's not going to happen.
I think I'm in the same as a lot of fans. I think he'll be sacked by Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll go to Chelsea, realise there's way too many big heads there, way too many people that are not good enough.
Imagine Lampard versus Maresca with opposite teams.
I mean, we've had likes like McKenna going to Man United and that.
He's got a new contract at Ipswich now. No shock. It's the moment that Enzo looks like he's going to Chelsea. He's
Football's gone mad. On Chelsea, to be honest with you, out of all this debate, Chelsea, and not the fans obviously, but the Chelsea board and that, they're the biggest load of mugs.
They are, yeah.
He's getting Enzo in.
Especially paying 10 mil to get inexperienced managers who've never been in the Prem.
If they're not, they'll probably be sat in 10th place by Christmas time. They'll be like, well, that's not good enough. Goodbye, Enzo. And Maresca will be out of a job, and he'll probably end up going.
So yeah, the last comment of the day, I'll bring up Joe here. Obviously, we've already answered it, but we'll say it again just to end off. Who do you realistically want? Your first. Okay, my first choice is probably Potter, just because it's closest to the Enzo style, which obviously I know might have not worked anyway, but I think we need some sort of stability with how we've been playing. Whereas I'm guessing yours is Moyes because he knows what he's doing in the Premier League.
Yeah, for me, I think realistically Moyes would be a good option. I think I favour him over Potter because Potter's been out of a job for 2 seasons. I think Potter's a decent manager, but I think he went from Brighton to Chelsea to nothing. I'm not quite sure where his head lies as a manager because
he might not want a new move yet because he's only just been sacked from West Ham.
That's kind of my logic. If he comes into the team after being out of the game for 2 seasons, I think it could be.
Who's this? Potter.
Potter. I think it could be the wrong move for someone who hasn't managed in 2 seasons because of.
But a lot of managers do need a lot of managers do say after they got sacked they do need a break. Because it's like Klopp. He's not going to go back into another job. Maybe never. But he obviously left Liverpool. I can't see him getting another job for another year or 2 now because he said he wants a break.
He's signing up for the German job, I assume.
Maybe so.
If you ask me, I just think
get Xavi. That's never happening either. Yeah, I'd love to see Barca start to play at Leicester, but that's not going to happen, is it? Tom here.
For me, Moisey, I think I agree with Tom. Like I said.
More the experienced manager for next season with a possible point deduction. We're going to need someone who knows what he's doing. Again, I wouldn't be opposed to him. I just would prefer someone like Potter because
I get where you're coming from. Moyes has been there, done that. He's one of these managers that
you never know. We could get into your
doesn't need a break. Unfortunately, some of these managers of players live in a different world where they think they can have a 2-year break, unlike us who have to work week in, week out. Without fail, really, They live in their own world, and if you ask me, Moyes is a very down-to-earth person, and he's done very well with the West Ham team, who they've not been spending massively, and they've done very well.
John O'Hare says, "Can Enzo convince Chelsea to sign back at 50 mil? Maybe so. I'm not going to show Loxy because he's just going to try and get everyone to say it as well. Sam has to work every day. Reader doesn't." Course. I'll bring that one up just because it's not true, but yeah. And then the final comment of the day is from Franco, says Carrick from Middlesbrough.
If you would have said at the start of the Championship season, Carrick to come into Leicester, I would have said fair enough. This season, he's got them mid-table this year in the Championship. No thanks. That's even worse than the West Brom manager.
Only going to Solskjaer. Top 2 finishes random one Brandon bottled it, even when we spent more time on United. I would not take anywhere near him. I'm sorry.
Why not?
Why
not? Tell me why.
He just doesn't seem like a manager at all, in my eyes.
Okay, tell me why.
I don't. There's certain players that can be players and managers, but for me, he's not a manager. He's not.
I think he did a very good job at Man U.
He did have one of the best teams. in the league. And if any sort of high level manager could United in top four.
If it's the same as an F1 car, it doesn't matter how good of a driver you are. If you put in the best car, you're going to do well. Same as any other team. If you got put in the Man City team, you probably do well regardless because they've got the most expensive and best team in the league. I'm just saying, I think Ollie would be an okay. I'm not saying he's better than some of the other.
But he's not even in the list of.
No, I think he would be a decent. I'm not advocating for him 1 second. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, I think he's probably a better shout than the West Brom manager because he.
I'd take him over West Brom manager. I think I'd take most managers over the West Brom manager. But that's just because we need Prem experience. I think if you go backwards into the Championship to go into the Premier League, you might as well be asking for trouble. But there you go, guys. As you can see on here, Enzo is all but confirmed to go to Chelsea. So I appreciate you all coming in, and we'll catch you all on the next show, which might even be later today when it's actually officially announced, even for a quick video, just to.
Well, obviously, in the next week, fingers crossed, the club decides to pull the things out and get a manager in, and we'll be doing more lives about that. Knowing us, really, we'll probably be back here in, let's say, 2 months' time to announce the new manager. First game for a couple of days before the first game.
2 or 3 months, yeah.
That's probably when we bring the new manager in there in Rudkin style.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, and maybe we'll have a new signing from League Two in there, new striker on 50 grand a week or something. I don't know.
Well, you said we already had that for League Two.
I don't think anyone would want him in League Two, would they?
I don't know, but there you go, guys. Appreciate you coming in. We'll on the next show. See you in a bit.